If you've ever heard of Suicide Boys, you've definitely heard of Scrim, Slick, Young Christ, Suicide Christ, or the countless other names he has. So in May 2020, Mr. Suicide Noodle here has released a solo album where he himself raps. No Ruby involvement. Just Jesus himself. Naturally, people were hyped for an album where the arguably most iconic Suicide Boy just rapped by himself. And boy, people were disappointed. Me, Mr. Gamer 9TLMLG, with a very long ass fucking name, is going to discuss my opinions on why the album was a letdown. Let's get into it. I know what you're thinking. Retard, aren't you a gaming channel? What the fuck are you doing talking about music? You don't know anything about music anyways. Well, I've discussed how I'm gonna become like a commentary channel in a sense. So, this can fall into commentary, so fuck you. So personally, I don't dislike the album. I can vibe with it. It was just particularly disappointing to listen to. The thing is, the album was not Scrim. We have always known Scrim as a hardcore rapper in his songs. We know it's him when we hear his, deep, raspy voice when he starts saying lines. You, you can just identify him like that. That's his identity that he put on himself. Something that made him popular. I and many others were disappointed to hear that he didn't present himself in like that in the album. Uh, that's what everyone was excited for after all. Things I've liked about Slick was his awesome personality. He's often very funny and entertaining. You love this guy because of his awesome personality. His verses are also very smart, creative, and very well done. An example is, if life has been a game of inches, then my dick has been the biggest. It's amazing and great. You can't argue against that. Lastly, his vocals. Vocals are a very important part in music. His iconic hard vocals that make you shiver when you listen to him. That's what I was excited for in the album, personally. Some cool, hard vocals that I could slam my head into my monitor with. Then we heard very auto-tuned light verses. The problem isn't having auto-tune itself. It's how heavily auto-tuned it was. It sounds way over the top. And it just doesn't help him separate from other artists. It just makes him sound like an average SoundCloud rapper. It doesn't raise uniqueness. Now I will address how he defended his album and how some people defended it. And there are some good points, but remember, I'm telling you why it's not popular in general and why it's not my personal favorite. Scrim goes on to say how much older he's getting and how his voice won't be the same. People are expecting the 2015 Scrim, younger Scrim. And autotune will start to get necessary because of his age. He argues how he felt and what he wanted to do, and if he were to go hard like a Suicide Boy song, then why not just make a Suicide Boy song? I respect this, and I honestly understand these aspects, but the hype to releasing a solo album is to get to hear more of this artist and what you like about them. By the way, on Reddit, I asked people what they didn't like about the album, and some discussed why they liked it, and here's why they liked it. People said a man arose from the dead is representing a rebirth of young Christ, where instead of a dark and distorted, drugged up vocals, it was a more lightened up, sober album. The concept of the album was about addictions and overcoming it. And these are some fair defenses for the album. Now, let's get into why people didn't like the album, and they will end up sounding the same. To be fair, it is just basically saying his vocals are not the best, but we're gonna get into it. So, this is just quotes, okay? I'm quoting. In my opinion, there's way too much autotune. His natural voice is so talented. I feel like it's just so new. I liked his verse and flow in Suicide Boys, but it felt like it's so techno. I don't know, or I don't think that's the word, but it just feels too new. The old flow is better, not gonna lie. I feel like it's just so new. I like Scrim for his grimy, hardcore sound. Now he sounds soft. If he grows and becomes bigger than he, if he grows and becomes bigger than he was from his new sound and he enjoys it, then that's good and he should keep doing this thing. Just not for me. He got blessed with a nice voice, and autotune ruined it. My main thing was all the autotune stuff kind of mixed all together, and I can't really tell any of them apart if someone puts it on. I know, but you know what I mean. I don't mind the autotune stuff, but something's got to stand out in these songs. All the tracks sound the same. Ooh, here's where it gets into depth. I really like Scrim and Suicide Boys, and I asked myself, what are you missing in Scrim's album? I only fuck with like 3 songs from the album, which surprised me because I almost liked every song from SSATS. I realized that I kind of like Scrim's flow in SB songs more, and he switches it up often. The songs on AMR FTD were kind of similar flow wise, and sometimes I felt like there was missing something. I was probably thinking about Ruby, but I tried to ignore all that and see Scrim as a independent artist, which gives Scrim the opportunity to play out his strengths with his voice and his sometimes dark and evil themes. The beat was fire all the way. I could not agree more. I just want to thank everyone who contributed as feedback from the album to get, the general problem with the album. It was, the Reddit shit. I thought the album was a missed opportunity, but hey, if you're watching the Scrim, if you're happy doing this, then I'm happy for you, man. I'll continue to support you all the way. Just try to remember what makes you unique and try to remain unique as an artist with your verses. This album should be something to learn from. To try to not make your vocals not so unique, make it more unique and not sound like all other rappers. Remember what I said about remember what made you stand out, not what I said. Sorry, my bad. This is in order for you to ride the success wave. Try not to fall into a crowd, but rather stand out. Personally, I like Even Jesus Wept. It was my favorite out of the album. But I also think the light vocals didn't suit the beat. I thought that was a bit of a missed opportunity. But keep working hard, man. The album wasn't bad, it's just not amazing. So if you made it all the way to the end of the video. If you liked what you saw, hit the like button. I wouldn't suggest subbing because this isn't my usual content. But hey, it's your choice. Follow my Twitch if you want to see more from me. Twitch.tv/undying, no G, TMLG. Bye, motherfuckers.